I don't think Final Cut Pro is ever coming to iPadOS. Certainly not this year based on the recent WWDC, and I don't think it will within the next few years. I hope I'm wrong because I am an Apple fan and I am deep into the Apple ecosystem. Plus I do use and love Final Cut Pro. I wish this was a clickbait, but it isn't, and in today's video I'm going to tell you why Final Cut Pro is not coming to iPadOS in the near future. The iPad is not just an iPad. We have the iPad Pros, iPad Airs, and iPad Minis, all of which has a few generations by now. They come in different sizes, designs, and colors. Every year there are roughly 40 million of iPad units that are sold. You might think, yeah, Pia, they are so popular, and this is why Apple will bring Final Cut Pro to the iPad to boost even more sales. But hear me out, as this is what supports my theory. We also have iMacs, Mac Mini, and the Mac Pros, or cheese grater as what we call them here at home. The report that I found stated that there are 18.21 million units of Macs that were sold in 2018 alone. I don't know how much net profit Apple makes per single unit of an iMac. Net profit, if you don't know, is just simply the total earnings after subtracting all of the expenses. But I do know that some businesses like the 30% rule, meaning they like at least 30% of net profit to make the business sustainable and profitable. I know you were thinking that these type of computers are the stationary ones where they stay where you keep them and they are not necessarily portable, unlike the MacBooks, which we will be talking about more later on. You are right to think that way, but if you look at the entire picture of users who prefer computers that are the stationary type, and all of a sudden you introduce an iPad that can run more pro apps, including Final Cut Pro, for example, I bet some of these users will be alert to try a different and new type of setup. Not to forget the fact that some, if not most of these iMac users are already iPad owners. Do you see where I'm going here? That Apple will miss out on some sales. Moving on to the MacBooks, we have the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. Every year we get a new model that is meant to be faster and better than the last year's model. Even without Googling how many MacBooks were sold based on above figures and how big Apple is, it is safe to assume that every year there are millions and millions of MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs that are being sold. And this is why every year they make it better and faster than the previous years to keep us consumers upgrading and buying as often as possible. If Apple would bring more Pro apps on the iPads or even on the iPad Pros alone, as I must admit hearing about the M1 chip coming to the iPad Pro gave us a glimmer of hope a few months ago before WWDC broke our hearts with the iPadOS. If Apple would bring Final Cut Pro to the iPad, which is something that is highly anticipated by creators who are hoping to edit videos and work entirely on their iPads, can you imagine how much sales Apple would lose? I have heard people waiting for the Final Cut Pro to come to their iPads with plans and hopes of simplifying their workflow and eliminating their MacBooks. Especially you can get Magic Keyboard, and to be completely honest, I am one of those people willing to try to wean off of my MacBook Pro if Final Cut Pro and other Pro apps would come to the iPad Pros. That's too many pros in one sentence. At the end of the day, Apple is a business. Apple is a multi-billion business. I am a fan, don't get me wrong, but they do have such a strong and efficient business model, and they like to do things their ways. Their business model is so well made that a person liking a certain feature of their product can easily be sucked into their ecosystem, as all of the Apple products are just so well integrated. I don't think Final Cut Pro is coming to the iPads soon because that means they would miss out on Mac sales from average consumers. These losses of sales are millions of dollars, which will be hurtful if not completely damaging for Apple. And a goal of a business is to make money. This is why a MacBook is an amazing laptop, and an iPad is also amazing for being an iPad or a tablet. They are just two completely different devices and they run on two completely different operating systems. I think not unless Apple would be threatened by competitors, which is never the case, as evidenced by the iPhone's features being a bit behind compared to the top of the range features of some of the Android phones, then I don't think they would even think about putting Final Cut Pro on the iPad. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but that's my theory for now. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave it in the comment section. So sorry to be a bummer. You can check out my Apple playlist, so hopefully I can make it up to you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Bye now.